So Luke, we're now talking prior to a Peterborough United 11 coming to Meadow Park, but we had finishing touch football here on Saturday. Did they provide a tougher opposition than you expected?
I have to say, very good exercise. Spoke to Marcus on the way home, thanked him for bringing his side here. Look, on reflection, they're lads that are looking for deals and we're a perfect club for them. So they're going to come here, up their game. I thought they played with great fluidity, freedom. They played a high press, which is brilliant. It's something that we haven't dealt with this pre-season. The manner in which they played, it was a great test for us. And like I said, on the day, it was all about getting match fitness. It was all about getting organisation, and it was nice to get their first clean sheet and another win on the board.
So, looking at positives from the game, Cabby's now gone 4 goals in 2 games, I believe. Do you feel the addition of Shaquille Coulthurst has maybe made him up his game in that respect?
Yeah, I have to say, look at Zayn N'Gol coming in the building and look at Sorba's performances. Look at Gus Mufata and look at Kieran Mertens. Now look at Shaq's and Cabs. I feel that competition is going to be key this year. I look at the squad that we've been wheeling out all pre-season. We've done different permutations in terms of personnel in different positions. And I have to say, yeah, we've got good personnel in every position now. Probably limited in the right back role. You've got Zayn and Sorba for one down the left-hand channel. You've got Pierre Corey for on the point, and you got 2 from 3 from Cabs, Shaq and Reedy. So going back to your question, I have to say I think the level of performance has to be good, because they look over and see who's sitting in the stand or the personnel that are waiting on the bench and thinking, if I don't deliver, I might be on the bench or in the stand next week. So for me, yeah, the additions have been very productive. They're starting to understand a little bit more in terms of what's being asked of them. Shaq, not as much. He's only been in the building just over a week now. Got another opportunity of him playing minutes tomorrow night against Peterborough, and we need to ensure that he gets us and how we want to go about our business. And in the early stages, he's gone and scored his 4 goals, I believe, or hat-trick, I believe, in the first half against Slough, and should have probably netted on Saturday with a great bit of combination play with Kane, and he didn't. But again, his all-round game is going to add to what we've got in the building already. And like you said from the off, for me, competition is going to be key. And to ensure that people's performances are kept at a level to enable them to be playing week in, week out.
So we're advancing in pre-season. We're progressing towards the end of the pre-season. We welcome Peterborough to Meadow Park tomorrow. Have we transitioned in the phase of pre-season from maybe getting minutes into players, more into sort of looking at pictures and patterns and the way that the team is going to play when the season starts?
100%. That's even mirrored in our training sessions. Early on, we had a few trialists and a couple of the YT boys. That's to enable us to have 2 groups, because we're a high intensity training group. I like to do small-sided, little possession grids in terms of overloads and getting the work into the legs on that side. So that was early on, first 2 weeks, and that was mirrored on the games against Wingate, Billericay. And then we started to hone in on where we was at, a little bit more at Concord and a little bit more at Slough. And possibly if we were playing Brentford B, you would have probably seen a little bit of closer to the 11 that may start the season. That wasn't the case, and we went and utilised it for more match play and game time. Tomorrow evening against Peterborough, we have to start nailing down where we're at. We have to really identify pitches and patterns, as you suggested, set pieces for and against, and to really hone in on where we need to be at come October the 3rd. And that's mirrored in the session today. Myself and Dodsey and Cams were involved in it, and Dodsey took the attacking side and done position specific stuff with them and how we can improve in and around the box, and I done the defensive unit. So we are really getting to grips with things that we need to improve on. We've got, in my opinion, still got ages, still got 12-13 days until we land at Wrexham, and 2 games in that period, and we've got 6 sessions to nail down everything and what's to be asked of the group come October the 3rd. So yep, the transition from split minutes and getting people game time and having, say, 18, 19, 20 bodies in a matchday squad to now 16, 17, and realistically we need to know where we're at come the end of Peterborough and come the end of the game on Saturday, as and when we get that announced, to ensure that everyone knows what their jobs are and what's to be asked of them come October the 3rd against Wrexham.
So you talk about preparing for the season and pre-season. Much of your answers to many of the interview questions is about keeping an injury-free squad through pre-season. Obviously, on Tuesday night, Tom Champion experienced a slight knock and was missing from Saturday's game. Do you have any update on where Tom's at?
Champ done a protocol in terms of a head injury. We had long discussions with the medical department about Champ and where we see things. Thankfully, he's gone through that week process. He's ticked every box in terms of the return to play without contact, return to play today with contact, and he'll be available tomorrow evening, which again is a plus. I've got everyone's minutes. Unfortunately, he wasn't available for the Wingate game, so he has limited minutes currently, but he is fit as you like. I've got no concerns with the return from Tom Champion. He's been in now, this is his 4th season. What's expected from him, he knows. What we ask from him, he knows. So yeah, he'll be involved tomorrow evening against Peterborough. We're going into that with a fully fit squad, which again, I alluded to on every occasion. I've had an interview after and before games, which is fundamental. We speak about it, and I know managers will echo that, especially us having 2 pre-seasons in a short period of time. Touch wood, we don't get an injury, because that'll be disheartening for myself, the management team and the medical department, because we do have a close-knit group, a smaller group, 16, 17 players, and we need to ensure that we're injury-free, suspension-free, to ensure that we have the best opportunity in progressing and delivering up the best season we can. So yeah, Tom Champ's back in the building. As it stands, no one else has got an injury. I can imagine there's little niggles and tightness, but that's expected in pre-season. That's stuff that we've managed on the training grid. So yeah, looking forward to having a fully fit squad to pick against Peterborough tomorrow.
So once Peterborough is out of the way and we played them, what does the rest of pre-season look like? I understand there's been some advancement on a game for Saturday.
We have obviously spoken to Welling, so I believe that will be announced shortly. We'll be going down to them. It will be a great test for us in terms of their National South. Bradley Quinton, great manager, done brilliant with Braintree, done brilliant with Enfield Pride, done brilliant with Welling to settle the ship, and that's going to give us just the test we need leading up to Wrexham, especially going away from home. There's a mindset of travelling as opposed to being at home. So perfect opportunity for us again to hone in on what's expected, to work on our habits. And yeah, they're going to offer up an unbelievable test. And that's something that, for me, you look at our pre-season today, the games we've played were specific, because Wingate was nice because it's local and on the pitch, and it just gives us a little ease into your pre-season period. Billericay is a tough test on artificial pitch. It's something that we look at because teams at our level have that. Then go to Concord, FA Trophy finalists, which again was no mean feat on their part. Then you go to Slough, who was playoff contenders last year and have ambitions to do that again this year. We have the showcase team on Saturday, and then you go to Peterborough and Welling. I think that's a good pre-season, 7 good games. I think we needed games this year to ensure that people are getting back into the groove, because some of the lads, Corey Whiteley, Gus Mufata, Zayn Angol, Shaq was involved in the playoffs, but again he's had 5-6 weeks off it. Them other lads have had potentially 20 weeks off, and I think they need to get back into their groove, and I think I'm seeing that in Zayn Angol, Corey Whiteley. The minute they starting to get a little bit more game understanding and more sort of into their groove, as I keep saying, I think we're seeing why we signed these players.
So you talk about getting into the groove, and also about having specific reasons behind playing each team. Do you feel Peterborough will offer us something in terms of maybe not having the ball for large portions of the game, being a Football League side and want to dominate the ball? Do you feel that's a benefit we can take from that game?
100%. Year on year, the chairman, yourself, myself, we know the rules. It's normally Arsenal, it's normally the Brentfords that come here, the Lutons, and it's a great test for us because, like you said and alluded to, you're probably 35% of possession. So you're working a lot of your organisational side, out of possession, how you counter, when you counter, who you send on the counter. And the fact that they're bringing a Peterborough 11, they're going to have lads that aren't involved in the first team just as yet, maybe the 7, 8 subs, and then 23. So it's going to be an unbelievable test for us. But we need to be better in possession. We need to be better in both boxes. And that's, yeah, like you said, they'll give us the respect because I know them down there, and they'll give us the respect to have the ball at times. But yeah, we're going to have to work tirelessly to ensure that we're organised, we're well drilled. And it's another test where I think that would have been probably the Brentford test as opposed to the showcase team we played on Saturday. But yeah, brilliant in terms of what the chairman's done and the relationship he's got with Barry Fry to get the game in such short notice. It gives us another added incentive to work hard out of possession, and when in possession to work even harder to manufacture opportunities, and when you get the opportunity, ensuring that we're ruthless and then putting them to the sword.
So you talk about pre-season, and obviously the whole of pre-season building up to the season opener, and the way that you start the season. Last season, admittedly, we didn't start the best before we went on a great run. How important is it that we start the season well?
Like I said, we started a stack pack. Elliot, our analyst, done a stack pack just to preview and debrief the season of 1920, and our start wasn't great. I believe it was 9 points from 10 games. Our last 10 games was 19 points from 10 games. If we had mirrored our last 10 in our first 10, I believe we would have finished second, which could be the difference. Look at Harrogate, who finished second, got the luxury of playing at home in a one-off game against us, and then were fortunate enough to go and be as good as they were on the day at Wembley and beating Notts County. So the start, yes, is fundamentally important. We know the rules. Discipline's going to play a massive factor. I think we've got a more settled side now. Excuse me. I think we've got personnel in there that understand what it takes and what's needed in starting the season on the front foot. I'm hot on discipline, and that's echoed on the training field, little niggles and little touches that giving fouls, I'm blowing the whistle and giving them and saying that's a yellow, that's a red, sit out for 2-3 minutes, because they need to mirror what they do on the training field on the first team pitch. And our discipline record last year, we had 3 sendings off within the first 5 or 6 games, and that's something that isn't me, it isn't us. It doesn't enable us to give us the best opportunity of winning the game of football. Down at Torquay, I thought it was two very good sides battling it out. Could we have edged it? I believe we were. And then we go and lose the man on the 26th minute in Jamal Fifield. Then you get Esfleet here. Within 35, 40 seconds of the game starting, we lose Femi Lassamli. And that was a close encounter. We played 89 minutes with 10 men, and we only lost 2-1, and we created opportunities and chances. And then we go and lose Tom Champ. Yes, we were a 2-0 deficit at Eastleigh, so I have to say that one for me was already dead in the water. But discipline's key. We lose him, and the knock-on effect is that he's missing games of football within that 10-game period. So there's a lot of factors that need to improve. We've touched on it. We've got the stat pack of 0 to 15 minutes in a game of football that needs to improve. Our 75 to 90 was outstanding, the best in the National League by 7 goals. The way you go and score in that period, which shows we're fit. The 0 to 15 has to be better. And that's something that I think at Slough was very productive. I felt against Concord was even more productive. On Saturday it wasn't. So we need to ensure that we're getting them habits and they're implementing it come match day.